Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again. It is the Written Undead podcast. I am Jack Childress, and as always, I've got my tag team extraordinaire, minus one, Jennifer Amato, Angel Ramon. Rich Ryan Rose is headed to a big convention for some Bigfoots and stuff. He gonna try to make a little money. In the meantime, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna chill out and find out a little bit about the one and only Derek Barton. Mr. Derek Barton, welcome to the Written Undead
Welcome.
podcast.
Welcome.
Pleasure being here.
Man, how are you doing, man? How's things been going for you? Keeping yourself busy?
Yeah. To be honest, this last couple of years has been a recovery mode. I had an unforeseen stroke after turning 50.
Oh my
So
gosh.
Wow.
they said basically I was a 50-year-old time bomb waiting to happen. I had a hole in my heart since birth, never detected, caused to bleed, and then I had my stroke because of it. So
Holy crap.
and yeah, it's been a work in progress, let's say.
It's amazing that you're here then.
No
Yeah.
doubt. You
No
I
doubt
actually
about it.
wrote a really interesting blog on it because what happened was I laid down next to my little girl to go just take a nap,
Mhm.
and during
Yep.
that I was having a nightmare, and basically I was being pulled into like a black pool. And
Oh,
I
Weird.
couldn't get out of it. I kept trying to swim closer and closer to the surface. By the time I pulled myself out of it, literally parts of me were still snagged into this black goo. And I
Ugh.
came out of it, and when I woke up, I had my stroke. That was
Oh,
literally my
man.
brain telling
Right.
me I was having a stroke because I
wow.
lost my entire left side.
Oh
I
wow.
couldn't
Wow.
Oh, I
couldn't
can only
walk.
imagine.
It's like waking up and all the rules to my body have been rewritten.
Wow.
Jeez. I
Jeez
can't.
Louise.
I was in intensive care for about 2 weeks, and then acute recovery for about 3 months.
We are glad that
Wow.
you are here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I am. Yeah.
The thing I'm most grateful about, though, not just being alive, but the fact that my little girl didn't wake up next to her dad, laying next to her dead. You know?
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
I can't imagine the trauma that would have caused her. So,
Well, thankfully
here
she doesn't
to
have
share
to
with
find
her
that
still.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully
Yeah.
she doesn't have to find that out.
Yeah.
So, but
Well, I'm gonna
so my writing kind of took a dip for a while. I went from
Okay. Yeah, it makes
typing about
sense.
75 words a minute to 7.
Oh wow.
Oh
and
man.
I'm back up to probably about 38, maybe.
All right.
Hey, you're doing
Hey,
pretty good.
Hey, you're
Oh,
getting
yeah.
up there. You're getting back there. You're getting back there. Good. Good.
Well,
Still a
heck
little
yeah.
bit of a slur, but it's getting better.
So now,
Uh-huh.
what were some of your inspirations before you started getting into writing to begin with?
Well, childhood of the 80s, Stephen King was everybody's
Mhm.
inspiration,
Oh
that
yeah.
liked horror. Dean Koontz, Clive
Yep.
Barker. Then I got into D&D a little Dungeons and Dragons. So I
Oh,
have
yeah.
Oh,
fantasy
Dungeons and
background.
Dragons. Oh yeah. Mhm.
It seems to be a very, very. It goes across the board with a lot of writers. I've never
does.
done Dungeons and Dragons. I've never
Well,
done D&D.
I think especially with men, it was kind of like our nerd outlet.
Yep.
We got to be
Oh,
heroes
yeah.
on a Sunday afternoon,
Mhm.
So we got to be the big muscular, badasses we always wanted to be. And so
Yep.
I think that, especially with D&D, it helped me with my storytelling abilities.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I can
put
see
down
that.
those years.
Right. Mm-hmm.
For
And
sure.
then at the age of 4, they finally I had a friend of mine, and he's like, we lost touch for a long time after high school. And then we reconnected, and he's like, I don't think I've ever seen anything of yours published. I said, well, I've never actually done any writing. I said, I always thought you were going to be the writer of the group. He said,
Uh-huh.
he's got 11, he had 11 or 12 books at that time self-published. And I'm like,
Wow.
wow, okay.
Man.
And it just inspired me. And
Mhm.
it's,
There you go. And yeah.
I was
Now-
42,
Mhm.
so it was kind of like a midlife crisis mode. It's like,
Ah.
Oh.
Huh.
So that's
maybe
my
I'm missing
problem.
out,
Yeah.
Well, something I'm always curious about, and I got to ask Jen about it, and her reaction is pretty much on par with what I usually get. I'm going to ask you the same question. when your very, 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 very first book was published and you threw it out there in the wild? How did you feel?
It's still one of those where I'll go back and read it or hear a part of it on audio and go, man, I wish I'd read that better. And I was talking to my dad about this because he's a writer too. When you look at it's like your children. You always want to do better for them. You always want to make them better, but you can't go back and keep making additions to your books. You can't come
Right.
I'm sure Stephen King looks back on his stuff and goes, "What the hell was I doing?" And it's just embarrassing stuff's out there.
He might understand that he was a little drunk when he wrote something.
Well,
He may be like, "Well, I'm glad I quit drinking."
Yep.
So you have what, 12 books out? If I'm reading this correctly from your website, you have 12 books.
Okay.
All in horror and suspense.
No, not all of them. I got my first 2 books were actually epic fantasy.
Ah, okay.
Awesome. Oh, right down there. It says right there.
So,
read,
so
Jay.
you've
I've always
got
looked back,
in
wish
the
I could make
horror
some
and
changes, but it's good that you don't. You leave them as they are.
yeah. So in the horror and suspense genre, you have Elude parts 1, 2, and 3.
Correct.
Evade parts 1, 2, and 3. The Hidden Within. 12 Months of Hell and Horror in 4 days. Those are your horror ones, correct?
Correct.
And then your epic fantasy ones are Consequences Within Chaos and Bleeding Crown.
Yep.
All right. Excellent. That's still, I mean, to me, having that many books in the time frame that you have them is still, I love it. I think it's amazing.
It's mind-boggling.
I'm struggling just writing my second one, and I'm about to turn 45 next.
Well, my first book took me 3 years to actually write the whole damn thing.
I can't even imagine.
Oh, man.
And then 2 years to edit and polish it and get it ready for publication because, I was never satisfied with it. I finally just said, okay, I'm going to get this done.
Okay.
Now, do you have an external editor?
Yes. I try real hard to turn him off until I'm done with the whole thing. Then I go back and let him have his day with me, So
yeah, I know the feeling. Yep.
You can't write with your editor going in your head at the same time.
Yeah, I have my editor Jack. He's my editor, so so I know the feeling.
What I try to do is I write whatever I'm going to write. Then the next day I'll go back and for the first 15 minutes or so, I'll do a little bit of editing. Then I can move on. Give yourself a little bit of time to edit, but not much because it gives you time to refresh where you are in your story and you get to make some changes. So that way, by the time you're ready to fully go into edit mode, you're not overwhelmed.
Right.
So my Elude and my Evade stories are all connected, actually.
Okay.
In fact, most of my horror stories are connected. My third book that I came out with was my first attempt in horror, and that was In 4 Days, which is a collection of 4 stories, but the murderer was the same one in each one. It was a demon, basically, a huntsman.
Cool.
Okay.
So one of the detectives in one of the stories, he becomes the main character in my Elude story. Well, one of the main characters in the Elude story. And my Evade series, one of the victims in 4 Days in one of those stories becomes one of the main characters in that series. Basically, a 3-year-old or a 7-year-old boy disappears for 3 years, suddenly shows up on a corner and filled up, not aged, no change, just like he walked right back out of that.
Whoa, I love those types of stories. That's so cool.
So, one other thing I would mention about Elude actually is probably my best selling. That's probably one of my most favorite myself. I take you on a tour of Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh.
So a lot of the places in the Allude series I've been to, and
In
not
real
the
life.
nicest places of Phoenix, let's just say.
Yeah. And when I when I wrote my story, I did it based here in Toledo, Ohio. So because I just knew, because I knew I wanted to write something that I knew about, and this was what I knew. I didn't.
Right,
I
what
had
you know.
only.
And
Yeah,
that's actually good advice.
I'd only lived in Arizona for a couple of years, and I wasn't. Um, I
It was
wasn't too well versed around the area, so I wouldn't even know if I was looking for a bar. I wouldn't even know where to go. You know, I knew where the grocery store was. That was it. But excuse me. You and I have been chatting offline a lot because we are
Don't tell me
beginning
why.
we are beginning a magazine. And
Yes,
right
we are.
now we're trying to get funding through Kickstarter and all that stuff to get this magazine off the ground.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that.
Yeah, can you talk about your dream with this magazine with Malice? I'm really excited to hear about it again, and I'm really excited for everyone else to hear about it.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking one night, I'm trying to figure out ways to, get my name more out there, get more people to see my name, and maybe give my books a chance. You know what I mean? And I was trying to figure out other ways to delve into my writing, but not just another book kind of thing. And it occurred to me that it'd be cool to do like a Tales of the Crypt kind of thing, where you have a bunch of short stories from a bunch of different writers put together. And I thought, well, that's a magazine. I'll do a magazine. I can do that. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was that's when the premise took form, and so it's been a learning curve. Still working on things, and hit a few bumps and few good surprises at the same time. So
Yeah,
I think we're on the road to success with this. Our goal is to do one a quarter. Of course, if it really takes off, I'd like to do next year, maybe two a quarter or bi-monthly.
right.
But right now, our goal is one a quarter. We're hoping to just use the Kickstarter to get us going on ads and some production costs, so that we put out a really good magazine. Not just
Quality.
something anybody puts together and throws out there.
Yep.
Right.
So what's been the hardest thing you've ran into thus far?
Well, I thought my hardest thing would be to get the writers. I thought, I don't know that many people, So I just went on Facebook. I typed in horror story or horror writers in the groups. I just went out there and I just put a little ad out saying, hey, I'm interested in putting a literary journal together for a bunch of short stories, looking for writers. And then boom, I got swamped. I'm like, wow.
I was going to say, about how many did you get like on the
there you
first
go.
day?
I got like 12 the first day.
Wow.
Not bad. That's not bad at all.
So our goal was to do like 3 short stories an issue. So 12. So I thought, okay, I hit my goal. Well, then I got more people. So I'm like, okay. So we ended up going, we're doing about 4 or 5 short stories per issue right now. So I got some crime writers also on board. I thought that'd be nice to us. So it's a horror and crime fiction literary magazine. So it's called With Malice. And Jen is one of the new writers. I'm really happy to help and be honored to work with. Got a couple of people that are brand new. So.
Well, hey, y'all, we need to see holler at Gareth and see if he'd be willing to submit one of those Carrie Harris little shorts he's got, the little tiny books.
Oh yeah, we could.
And if he would submit one of those for the magazine, we need to holler at him. We'll do that. We will absolutely make sure that happens.
We'll try and hook you up with some people and get you some more writers so that we can make this. Some writers with some clout and stuff like that.
And I've
unlike
read,
me, who only has I've got my couple people that are like, yeah, we're pro Jen.
No, but Jen is a good writer. I read a part of her story, that first book that she wrote, and she got me hooked. So, you got yourself a good writer with Jen.
Well, I definitely like the premise that she's already submitted to me about what she's doing. So I think she's definitely on.
My short story is actually not like my book. My book is actually sarcastic, plucky,
Yeah.
oh shit, moments.
That's what I like. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whereas like my short story is an immediate. Oh, the girl is like freaked out and scared to death.
Yeah.
Oh, a little dark, little darker.
So it's a little darker. I'm testing waters. I'm testing creativity. But that's the awesome thing about this. And Derek has been amazing, an amazing part of this because I can send it to him and I know that he's going to give me an honest opinion. What is this? What are their weapons? What do they look like? He reminds me of things that I forget about when I'm writing. So that's why I'm so much behind this magazine, because I really believe that Derek came up with a great idea for this magazine, and I really cannot wait to see it.
And what's the name of the magazine, Derek? What's the name of it?
With Malice.
With Malice, okay.
Yeah, and I saw some cover art for that thing, man. That looked pretty freaking brutal. I like that.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
And Jen helped me get a really awesome introduction video made. She, helped promote it, and I'll tell you,
the video was amazing.
They did a really good job with it. I think the only bumps I've had is a couple of, personality conflicts, I would say. Mm-hmm. Not with me, so to speak, but with a couple of the other writers. And you're going to have that. And I've had other people bow out because they suddenly got scared. They're like, you're not established. You haven't got this done. Yeah, it's like
you got to start somewhere. You
got to start
somewhere. And
I mean, listen, we all started somewhere, all of us.
Right.
Exactly.
And like I was telling Jen, I said, any kind of editorial, not criticism, is questions. It's because I'm coming with you at good intentions.
Exactly.
I'm not coming out to shoot you down. I'm trying to help you build it to better. And that's why I'm trying to tell the other people that, are on board with us. If I say something, it's not to shoot you down. It's just to say, well, have you thought about maybe doing this? Maybe this will help you. Or have you thought about this?
It comes from a good place. And he definitely
wants. One guy, he's brand new and he's only got like 1,500 words right now in his story. And he's struggling to figure out how to, increase it. And I'm like, well, just ask yourself more questions about what would your character do. And
you
really
gave him
engage your imagination.
Right.
You gave him amazing advice. You really did. You gave him amazing advice, and I'm so excited for this, and I am actually very proud to work with all of the writers that have stuck it out and are sticking it out with us. And of course, I really like the fact that we can always add more if we want to, and we can add more writers, or we can add more stories if we wanted to. Our shorts are actually between 4,000 and 10,000 words. So the magazine is going to be an amazing thing, and it can be in print or it can be in digital, and it'll be sold on Amazon.
Awesome.
And it'll also be sold on the actual magazine software, basically. It's
really?
Blurb.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm using blurb.com, which is an app that basically specializes in magazine production. And
I think I've heard of them before. I think I've heard of Blurb.
Story that will sell the book or the magazine as well. So, yeah, I'm really anxious for the first issue. It's just like your first book. Once you learn the process, then you're like, we got this.
Yeah.
So just getting the first book or the first magazine created has kind of been the challenge. Probably the only other bump I've seen or obstacle is the lack of communication from people. Certain people just have not spoken the entire time. It's like, I have what I literally call it the brainstorming table forum, and they come and we all talk and post ideas, and we have a chat going as well, group chat. But some people have not spoken the entire time. It's really frustrating. I mean, they'll talk to me, they won't talk with the rest of the group.
Well, I think it makes decisions difficult too, because you're trying to be very diplomatic about it. And when people aren't speaking up about their choices and what they like about things, like when he was trying to figure out for a cover, and he's like, yeah, what do you know, I've got these two ideas for a cover. What do you guys like? And I'm like, of course, me, the first one to speak up, shocker, was like, I like the second one. But that is what got the communication going, I think, because sometimes people don't want to be that first one. Sometimes people are they're just not as outspoken as I am. I'm an extrovert introvert, if that makes any sense.
I know.
I'd rather be left alone, but I'm always, hey, if I see somebody floundering, I'm going to be the first to speak up.
One of the things I've been trying to really put out there to these guys is, yes, it's my idea, but I look at it, you guys like 13 partners. We're all in this together. We're all going to succeed together. Not just me, not just you, So we got to put this together as a partnership. I don't look at it as I'm the boss kind of thing. I look at it as, I'm just the story organizer.
You're trying to be the ringleader of the circus.
Yeah, basically.
On top of raising a family and working. And
yes. And how many books are you currently writing?
I've got 2 fantasy that I'm finishing up. And I got 1 new horror story I'm working on. And the other day I got hit with another idea for a 4th. I'm like, damn it.
Yes.
That's usually the way it works.
For all these.
But yep. You don't you just hate that?
Yeah. I have 2 in the works, right? 3.
It's funny,
including my short story.
I once saw a thing on an interview with Stephen King, and they were asking him, do you have a night journal? Do you write down your dreams, yours? He goes, I used to do that, but then I realized, hey, you know what? That's garbage. If you can't remember an idea without writing it down, that means it's not a very good idea. It's not powerful enough to stick in your head and obsess you, then it's not going to be powerful enough to write.
Man, now that was deep. That's deep.
That's definitely something.
But it makes sense.
I keep obsessing over ideas, and then I know they're powerful enough they stay there. So I'm like, I get hit with the 4th one, and I'm like, it's too good not to do. But
see, I think that's why I do 4 podcasts. When I really
think you're addicted.
Maybe.
I think you're just addicted.
Yeah,
a little bit.
You just like the idea, but
look at what I get to do. I get to talk to people like Derek Barton right here. Get to find out cool stuff that he's got going on. See kind of how he sees the whole writing world. Come on, man! It's a drug everybody needs.
This is the best time in history of the world to be a writer. It really
is.
You know why? How many damn videos out there are on YouTube or on articles out there on how to write, on writing craft, on character building? There's so many things out there that there's no excuse anymore for not knowing how to do something in the business. It really isn't. There are 3,000 videos on any question you have right now on YouTube alone.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's the best time in the world to do it.
I agree.
Not kidding. I fixed my daughter's car by a YouTube video.
I changed the ceiling fan by YouTube.
Mechanic
Jam.
And it worked. There you go.
I do want to mention one other thing. You had asked me earlier about the hidden with one of the stories. It's a collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to kind of bring that up because my latest book produced was a sequel to that one, first one, The Hidden, and then The Hidden Within. The Hidden was actually my father's story. He wrote a book in the 90s, and of course he submitted it to a traditional publisher. Guess what they said? Shocker. They weren't ready for it. Well, he had no other books. He had no market, so they weren't going to give him time because they didn't want to waste marketing money on somebody who's unknown. So you have to be established even before you get into traditional. And honestly, to me, the traditional is not worth it. You give up way too much.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, Derek. I definitely think self-publishing is the future. Seriously, I believe that.
So, to kind of capitalize on what I was saying, as far as, so, of course, he after Winter Injection, he threw it in the shelf and left it, forgot about it. I brought it up one day. I said, "Whatever happened to that story that you did back in the '90s about werewolves?" And he's like, "Oh, I got it somewhere." So we started talking, and before I knew it, we got ourselves all hyped up and excited and wanted to rewrite it together. And then I personally said, I'm going to publish it through, I know how to self-publish it. So we'll do it together and then get it published. And it was a great way for me to be able to accomplish one of his dreams for him, help him get there, So now he's all happy about that. And then, so he was a one and done. He said, I'm not going to do anymore. But thank you. I loved it, but, I don't.
He was over it.
Yeah.
Right.
So a couple years went by, and I told him I had an idea, and I said, just hear me out. You don't have to do anything. But I said, what about this? And it ended up being the premise for The Hidden Within. He loved the idea. So
sweet.
Again, we worked together, did the writing, and worked, collaborated, and now we've gotten that one out. And so then the other day he sent me a text. Guess what? I said, what? He says, I'm writing a sequel.
Oh, good for him. That's
good
awesome.
job. That's good to hear.
And that's really cool that you can collab with your dad.
Yeah.
I could never. I don't think I have anybody that I really could collab with. My brother is stepping into the writing, and he's into a whole different. He's another D&D guy. He's
Your pros up.
Yeah, I think we might have Jen.
You don't like that picture either.
Her this time instead of me. How about that? That's a nice
I
twist.
hate my internet. It sucks. But he's got a phenomenal idea for a book, and I'm just like, I'm really excited for it. I could never collab with him on it because I am not that creative. He is extremely creative. You want blood and guts, I got you. But he's got all that fantasy fiction and stars and aligning in a certain way and coming up with whole new galaxies. And I'm
so my dad has been like my backup editor.
That's cool.
Chapters I've done, and so he's like, I'm having a real hard time following your fantasy stories. I said, don't worry about that, Dad. He says, is that just something with fantasy? I said, well, I read Game of Thrones and I had an Excel spreadsheet with all the characters and where they were at. I said, yes,
holy
that's
crap.
I said, I couldn't keep track of it, so I had to make
wow.
Well, that's like one of our buddies, Jeff Thompson.
Yep.
Love me some Jeffy.
Jeffy, yep. Yeah, Jeffy is a wonderful guy. But he's, he could be a little crazy sometimes.
Little cuckoo. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, he's writing this amazing book, and cool. Like I've already got it.
Cover.
Oh, he's got a whole like 3 of them, I believe. But he needs an Excel spreadsheet for all the bodies that are.
Oh yeah.
That he's taking out. He literally has an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And Jack and I are featured in this book.
Yep, so am I. I die as well.
You are a few times.
Yeah, a few times. Yeah, you die repeatedly.
Yeah, of course. I come back from the dead and die again and again and again and again.
I'm guilty of killing a couple of bosses in mine as well.
Yeah, let me know if you got any names. I can add them to the body count if you need.
Oh yeah.
I'm like the big bad boss that you kill, but I just keep resurrecting. You gotta kill again.
In your case, it's more like being resurrected.
Yeah. Not to.
So now, have you written any fans or friends into your books? I mean, I may have missed that right there somewhere.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Fans or friends? Have you written anybody into your books?
Yes, I have. I've used some of my.
Have they died a cruel death?
Only one that can come up with.
Did they ask for it, or was it kind of like you've pissed me off and this is your karma?
It wasn't anything like that. It was like I told her, I said, I'm using your character, using you as a character. I said, sorry,
You're dead.
she died yesterday.
You're dead. Sorry.
She said,
but don't take it personal.
She said, she goes, well, I hope it was a good death. I said, well, you were swarmed by 1,000 little spiders and then carried away. So you tell me.
I bet she loved that.
What did I do to you?
Yeah.
You didn't do anything to me, but
that's a wonderful way of dying.
I write horror stories for a reason, you know.
Hey, well,
mad.
our good friend Merrill David actually wrote me into his book Fester, which is up there
yeah.
on the wall. And let's just say I have an encounter with a spider, and it's a big spider, and maybe it didn't go so good, you know. So I can relate. I can relate to your friend.
Is it because you have a fear of spiders, though?
No, actually, I don't. I used to be an exterminator. I did that for a while. I'm not scared by bugs.
You're scared of them?
I'm a specific type of arachnophobic. I can't stand the tarantulas. So where do I move? The only state I move to is freaking Arizona.
And you're in Arizona during, I might add, mating season.
Look at Jen.
You can literally pet those things.
Yeah.
They will literally like curl up and get all, you know.
I went to I was at a reptile store. We have a turtle, and I was getting some food, and I looked down. I literally jumped back. He had a what do you call that? It's not a stuffed spider, but it was dead.
Taxidermied?
I guess you would call that. But I swear it was the size of a dinner plate. I've never seen a spider that big. And I'm thinking, I said, was that fake? He said, no, that was real. He was just, don't ever go to Australia.
Everything trying to kill. No, and Arizona is the Australia of America.
Dude, I literally, I do a show with Lee Edwards called The Adaptive World. And we've had a couple guys on from Australia, and I just asked them as a joke, is it really true that pretty much everything in Australia will kill you? They don't even blink. It's just like, yep.
No, it's real.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
it's like, yep, it will all kill you down here. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to go there.
You have to walk your dog within a certain time frame in Arizona in the morning and or at night, because if you do it outside of that, you've got coyotes that will eat your dog and you, or mountain lions. And then if you do it during the day, your dog's paws will melt off because the cement is like literal hot lava. It's just, you have a very, very small window.
I was hiking behind my house in the desert, and I was going down the trail, and there was a trail that went across mine, and I heard this noise, and I saw this rabbit making a beeline down that trail, and he was running literally for his life. About 15 yards away from him was a coyote chasing him, right? I'm like, oh, this is cool. Then the rabbit made a turn right at me. And then
no.
Oh, shit.
Oh, boy.
I locked up. The coyote comes running around. He locked up and like, oh, shit, a human. And I'm going, oh, shit, a coyote. We just sat there looking at each other. The rabbit ran away. We're looking at each other. He ran off.
Damn.
Oh, my God.
That was the ultimate food cock block right there.
Yeah, right?
Ouch.
Ruined it for that
human.
Oh my gosh, yeah, but that is very true out there. You have a very small window, and then God forbid you get a very small dog, because then you've got to stand outside and watch it potty, lest the hawks come down and carry it off.
Oh,
they're insane out there. They're like, oh, that's mine. They don't care. They'll dip. We have a hawk around 3:00 every day that used to just fly right low by where we could it go right by us. It didn't care. Dinner was outside, a couple doors.
He was hunting. He was straight
up.
He was on a mission. But so that place, everything's trying to kill you out there too.
We got a red tail that hangs out at work, and that sucker's always on patrol.
Oh yeah,
man, always on patrol. That's why he said we got chihuahuas. We got one chihuahua now. We used to have like 5 of them, but now we just have the one.
Thing about the coyotes,
we take them out without being careful.
Thing about the coyotes, I was kind of surprised about is they'll come right up to your house in the neighborhoods at night.
Yes. Yes.
they know that hey, everybody's pretty much sleeping. We can go in these neighborhoods now and hunt.
Yeah. And we have cement. We don't have fences in Arizona. We have cement walls. And don't think for 1 minute that a snake can't climb up and over that wall. It will, and it can.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Oh,
been
I
done.
believe it. Oh
I
yeah.
Oh
hate
my gosh.
snakes.
And my fiance has very, very bad arachnophobia. Like, and he'll come inside because we smoke out.
My
Freak train.
my wife's always, hey, kill the spider. I'm like, no. She goes, you hate spiders. I do, but I don't like killing things. So I'm the guy that gets the cup and the plate and takes everything out.
You know, he'll come inside and call me and be like, honey, I need you to come and get this. And I know it's a spider. He'll be like, my balls are in my
throat. I did that with a scorpion. She got mad at me. She's like, that could sting the baby. I said, yeah, but it's coming outside. I mean,
it's going to be outside. It might come back in at some point, but
Now,
they don't play out there. Them animals don't play.
The only thing I don't like are roaches. I can't stand roaches.
Roaches, yeah, they're the bane of existence. They're disgusting.
They're ginormous out there.
Hey, during my time as an exterminator, during my time as an exterminator, we went to this one house and they were having an issue with cockroaches. We saw some running around here and there. Well, we cut a little hole in the wall to inject this foam in to wipe them out. I don't
like where this is going.
Oh. We banged the wall, just pop, 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 and they rained.
Wow.
They rained down inside the freaking wall.
That was seen in our next book with raining.
Holy
that
cow.
would be the worst way I could die is being cold and bugs.
We started pumping the foam in, and they were like squirting out where they were coming out of light fixtures. They were coming out of the outlets.
Damn.
Anywhere they could squeeze out. We had drilled out these holes to pump the same chemical.
Were they the little ones or the big ones?
Yeah, the little ones. We had drilled out.
Ones.
Yeah, the little, almost
the little ones from
the little ones, like bigger than rice. Bigger than rice.
The cucarachas.
The tiny
ones.
The nasty ones. The ones you always assume in every apocalyptic scenario.
Yeah, I know the cucarachas.
So we had drilled out these holes to pump that same chemical into the slab in the garage. Well, I was going behind the guy after he was, spraying the stuff in and putting, Quickcrete into the holes to, fill them back up.
Right.
We look back, and these little sons of bitches are pushing the plugs out and then coming back out on the damn floor. Horror movie. Right there, lived it.
Yeah.
They were everywhere.
That's disgusting.
That's disgusting. Yes, they were. Yeah.
Quick short one I'll give you. We did go to treat this one house where they said it had a flea infestation and they needed to get it cleared out so they could move new residents in. I walked in, and as I started moving across the carpet into the living room that had no furniture, just empty room, I saw waves of black.
Oh, man.
Like leaping backwards. Just fleas backing up from me as I moved towards them.
Oh, man.
It took us 3 treatments to clear that place. So that's horror movie number 2. So there was a sequel. Man, have you ever thought about writing anything like that screwed up into your books?
Oh my Lord.
Like I said, I do have I do have an arachnophobic, so I do have quite a few spiders in my stories. My epic fantasy story, The Bleeding Crown, there's a scene in there where they encounter a whole swarm. Let's see. And the story of in 4 days, there's the demon. She's kind of like, how they have the queen ants with the large extended body?
Yeah.
I have a demon like that. And she is surrounded, of course, by thousands of spiders. Low, pale, translucent ones. So,
little house spiders.
That's very squirm. That's squirm worthy. That's absolutely squirm worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to give any spoilers away, but part of the story is that she's hunting people because she needs armor. And
Oh.
she armors herself like the assassin bug. She takes her dead and plasters it to her.
Oh, that's hardcore.
creative.
It's just my story than Undead.
Oh, dude. I'm
Wow.
already hearing the splats and the
sir.
splooshes and the, putting all that human.
You remember the movie Alien, of course, right? When they
Alien, yeah.
It's the same kind of thing. They were when they do an Alien in the book, at least, they would plaster the human up there, and if the human's arms or legs were in the wrong position, they just break them and fasten it to the wall to make them fit. So it's the same kind of premise,
Wow. So, has the FBI or CIA
Right?
contacted you?
Yeah.
They made
Security,
contact?
anybody, because your Google searches and stuff.
Yep.
He's
I
quiet
guess one
about
of
it.
my
Hold up,
questions
I'm
is,
getting
do you know
scared.
how long it would take a cockroach to eat a body?
Oh my Lord, Jen.
I'm just asking.
And
I
you know
know.
you want to know, Angel. You know you want to know.
It's a question everybody has had at least once in their life, and don't lie.
Oh boy.
Think about
That-
this. What if you had like cockroaches that could act like piranha?
Ooh,
Ooh.
that's
No,
a
yeah.
swarm you don't want no part of, especially
Nope.
if you can hit the wall and they rain down. Oh, you're done.
Oh boy.
It's a ball game.
Gross.
Oy.
Game
Jeez.
set match.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think I might need to get my conductor hat on that note.
Yeah, blow the whistle on
after we
yourself.
said, "Oh, this
Toledo.
show's calm,"
Yeah, you
Just
gotta blow
went-
the whistle.
Went
Yeah.
just a
So-
hair off.
I swear to God,
anyway,
Derek, we
with
didn't
Malice
lie.
magazine, we're hoping to come out once a
Yes.
quarter.
Yeah. Bring your stories.
How about hey Derek? How about mice? How about human eating mice?
Yeah.
Dude, hey, could
Um,
you write that short story, Angel?
Huh?
Could you write
What?
that short story for the magazine?
No,
With
I
the mice.
haven't.
If you
Yeah,
could.
I could. Yeah, that might actually do something like that. Because I say that because my mother, she's afraid of mice.
Oh, see, there you got a main character. You got
I think
a foil.
one of Stephen King's short stories is about a large rat that basically he controls a bunch of other rats in his herd.
Oh,
Pack, I guess you would call it.
no, but
think
this is just.
In Graveyard Shift, I think that was one of his stories.
Yeah, but my idea would just be mice. It'd just be random mice just eating people for no reason.
Sounds like an entry you should put into with Malice.
Yes.
Right. Could be. Yeah, I might just do something like that. Now I got Derek. I got another question for you, and and this has to do with Jack. Have you ever written a character and you killed them off and it pissed off a reader?
Oh.
Yes, I have.
I say that because I pissed off Jack one time myself.
So I send a lot of stuff I write to my father to kind of give me his opinion, do a little editing. He wrote me back the next night, "What the hell?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You killed him off? Really?" He's so mad at me. So yeah, we actually argued for a while on, whether it was good for their story or not. So
I assume you wound up winning.
yeah, I did. I got back at him because I said, "Well, you killed this person in your story, and I was mad about that. Remember?" He's like, I said, "So we're even."
Yeah.
Do you have any of your stories that are based in Arizona? Other than, you said one of them was in Phoenix?
Yeah, the Elude series all based in Phoenix.
Was there any other ones?
Nope, not yet.
Where are they based at usually? Or is it a made up place or is it a real place?
Well, my epic fantasy, of course, is a made up world.
Right. Right.
But the mainly the other stories have taken place in Philadelphia.
Oh,
Oh.
Why Philadelphia?
they're fucked up there.
To be honest,
They
I'm
are.
not sure. It's funny because I've had people ask me, "When did you visit or lived in Philly?" And I said, "I've never been to Philly, never visited."
But I heard rumors.
When I read your story, you included this park and you included this and that. And I said, I do really good at research. I make you think I'm in there.
You should try New York City. Oh, that's even worse. New York City. It's even worse than Philadelphia.
I think that's overwhelming. New York City is overwhelming.
Yeah, it is. I grew up in New York City, so and it is overwhelming.
Now, if you're gonna write New York City, you write the whole book within a few blocks. Leave it at that. Just stop there.
I wanted to. I think the reason I used Philly originally because I needed a big city background, and it just worked out. So that's kind of the premise of In 4 Days. Is my demon? He'll pick a target, haunt them for the 4 days. Anytime you're alone by yourself, he appears. Anytime you're alone. You're in an elevator, you're in your car, you're at home, or you're at work by yourself, he shows up and taunts you. Keeps telling you in your ear, in 4 days, I'm coming. In 4 days. 4th day, he shows up.
I have to get that book. That book sounds real good.
You ain't lying.
I based that one on a friend of mine was telling me about these new things called creepypastas on the internet. I said, what the hell is a creepypasta? And he said it's basically a campfire story told over the internet. So I was intrigued, and I wrote my own creepypasta, which was this girl's encounter with the demon, and she wrote it like a journal entry on a website, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the last day, of course, she doesn't write anything, but you have a newspaper article saying what happened to her. You know, they found, well, they never find her, but they found her apartment. So her apartment was left open during a winter storm. So everybody's wondering what the hell, you know, why would you leave her door open? They found her room all boarded up. They found full holes in the walls, and they found mud trailed into the house. But everybody's like, where do you find mud at this time of the year during a blizzard, you know? So, like I say, that brings in the whole supernatural element to it. So, and then I really liked the way that ended up. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to do 3 more. 3 more. And that's how In 4 Days wound up being a novel.
So what is your favorite genre to write? Okay, it is not time to play.
Here we go. Dog cameo.
You saw Jack's cat. Like, hey.
And we got Jen's dog. So there we go.
It's actually my friend's cat, Chester. He's playing fetch with me.
Oh.
Right this second. Because apparently it's playtime.
We've had a pair of pussies on the show today.
Yes. So again, what is your favorite genre to write?
That's a really tough question for me to answer. It probably depends on my mood. And whatever story comes up in my head, you know, I can fit in one way or another. I would say I love fantasy. I love horror. I would say that horror is probably my niche. But fantasy I like a lot of fantasy, and I have a lot of horror aspects into my fantasy. In fact, somebody asked me, well, how would you describe the Consequences with Chaos, which was my first one? I said, well, try to imagine what would happen if Stephen King wrote Harry Potter.
Wow. Harry Potter would be a very dark series.
Yeah, it would be a much different series.
So my first book, Consequences Within Chaos, takes place when the prince of the kingdom, he is always being basically cursed, where he has almost like a schizophrenia. All of a sudden, he'll just blank out and go to a different realm in his head, right? So everybody's like, all right, our king's dying. He's not long for this. How are we going to trust this guy to rule the kingdom? You know? So the whole premise is this really a curse in his head? Is he really got a malignancy? Or is there something else going on here? So.
I like it.
6-1.
I like
so
it.
basically, that story I came up with based around the main character, because I really like the idea of having a main character who couldn't tell the difference between his reality and the one he really was in.
It adds a twist to it that you're just like, oh my God, is this the reality, or is what's going on in his head the reality? I love those because you never know.
It's almost like a coming of age story because he realizes that through this other experiences he's been having, it's actually giving him some gifts and some powers that he did not know how to use. Now he's starting to wield them.
I like it.
Oh yeah,
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and that has a feel like Jen said, I love that type of story. Chris Philbrook has one that's similar, and the granted it's totally different. With his Diggory Finch stuff, where it's a guy that didn't even know that he had this history behind him, and it was going to lead to all these abilities and stuff. And that's some of the most fun stuff I ever read or listen to. It really is, and I love to hear fresh voices on it. Different ideas, different styles, just running with that thing.
All my stuff's on Audible right now.
That was my next question.
I started out with that consequences. It's funny because everybody kept saying, "Are you going to do this in Audible?" I'm like, I can't afford to hire people. Are you crazy? I can't even hardly get this thing printed myself. Well, it turns out that Audible is pretty easy to do. Actually, you kind of set up a contract kind of thing with the voice actor. So you go into a partnership, and basically how well the book does is a benefit to the both of you. So you don't have to come up with the cost up front a lot of times, and that's what helps us new writers. So the reason I brought this up is I ran across this lady. It was actually a referral to me because I was struggling to find anybody who could really do my book justice or wanted to take it on. And then my buddy, he said, "Well, you know that Laura Richcreek." I said, "Who?" He said, "Laura Richcreek. You know her from our senior class?" I said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "She does voices. She's a voice actress." No way. So we ended up, here is a girl that we grew up together. We didn't even know each other that well. Went to different parts of the country, and now we're working together on this.
Aw,
that's crazy.
Hey. Yeah.
Crown, and she did Consequences of Chaos, and she had to do 50 different voices.
Holy crap.
Wow. Wowee.
Because of all the different characters and all the different things that are happening in the story. They're different species. I mean, when you're having a conversation with somebody going, "Well, how does a half seagull, half human, how would he sound?"
That's a great question.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's a good one.
We're like, what kind of accent do you do to make that person sound different, but at the same time legible? You can't just squeak,
Well, hell, relatable thing. Stacy Bender, she's got a series called Kawaki, which is following these fox-like humanoid little creatures, but you figure they got the long snout, so they can't say certain words a certain way, so they speak a certain way.
My dad caught me on that. He's like, "Hey, how does a person with a beak smile?" I'm like, "Oh." He says, "Gotcha." He was editing. I said, "Oh, so-and-so smiled." He's like, "How do they smile? They have a beak."
So yeah, that's where I first thought about the whole animal thing. It's like, okay, Disney was really just having free reign with cartoons because
they were.
You can't just talk that way with a mouth like that.
Nope. And it's funny because when I do my books now, sometimes I'll enter my head like, I can't use this as a name. Too difficult to pronounce, In my first book, I had really hard names, so I toned it down because I read an article where it was saying if the readers are reading it and they can't pronounce the name in their heads, they're not going to remember your character. And they're not going to talk about your character to anybody else because they want to sound stupid,
Yeah. Because I can't picture myself sitting there. Oh, well, this character, I can't say his name. It's a bunch of consonants.
Yeah.
I just can't. I don't get engaged that way.
Consonant, the adverb.
Yep.
So now, when you're going through your early stages of the writing, how much editing do you do as you write, or do you just write the damn thing and then go, I'll figure out the rest later?
Well, of course, the whole Panzer versus plotter thing came in, and I had no idea what that was when I first started. And I was trying to write it, just sitting there typing away. Wasn't working for me. Basically, I'm one of those people that if I don't have a map, I go like this all over until I find the point.
You're a pantser, basically.
Huh? No, I'm a plotter.
No, he's a plotter.
A planner. I got you.
If he does the other way, he goes like that.
Well, I hear you. Okay.
So I have to have it spelled out from A to D to all the way to F. I mean, my first book, I did a 60-page bulleted outline.
Wow.
So basically, that was my rough draft. Basically.
Wow.
Oh
shit.
I've gotten away from that, especially with my horror. Horror, I mean, I love horror, but it's a less complicated genre because it's usually a person escaping from a monster or something like that. It's not that complicated. It's just more atmospheric and, the elements that you got to worry about. Whereas fantasy, you got to come up with all sorts of who's killing who's plotting against who's doing this, or what's happening here. So it's a lot more involved, but I love it. So
as long as you love it, that's what it counts.
Well, see, have you thought about ever getting into lit RPG or game lit? My buddy Angel here has a fantastic series going right now with his King Minos, plus the other series he's got, which are badass. Have you ever thought about dipping up into the gaming side of literature?
I have. In fact, a buddy of mine was really pushing. He's one of the writers in our with Malice. He's in England, and he was going gangbusters with his latest book. And I said, what's going on? How did you get so many things going on? And he says, I've been writing all these game books for a long time. He writes almost like choose your own adventure style stuff. That's really popular in England. Not so much here, unfortunately.
It used to be.
He kept saying, he wrote a wartime, a World War II book that went off the charts for him. And he said, all my other books have been selling as well, because once they look up your name, then they get interested in other stuff you've done. So I thought, okay, I'll give that a shot. So earlier this year, I released a game book called Infernal Eternal. And it's about a YouTube explorer, urban explorer. He gets kind of caught up in a weird, almost like a open one door, going to a different world kind of thing. It didn't sell. I did sell too. So, unfortunately, just that kind of market's, that kind of book's not big here in the States.
Well, when we were younger, our generation used to love those books. They really did.
Me too,
I did. When I was growing up, I really did.
That was my favorite kind of book to read. It was choose your own adventure.
Kids
turn
anymore,
for this
they don't
or turn
care.
here for that distance. Yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's like the generational gap that they're calling it. It might get popular for the next generation. Who knows?
Yeah. But it's funny because I totally love doing that. I love writing it that way. Send it to my dad, and he's like, I can't stand your book. I'm sorry. I love the story. I just can't stand that style.
Why?
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as much as it saddened me, we have reached the end of the hour for the Written Undead podcast.
Yes, we have.
Anywho, like cockroaches that will never be able to get out of our heads.
Raining down.
Gross.
Raining down.
Wow.
Gathering around your feet.
There's a movie called The Mimic back in the 80s, I think. It was on roaches that grew the size of humans.
Yes.
Oh, that would be my best chance at a girlfriend. So let's not even bring that up. I mean, freaking depressed over here.
He dated a couple of them things.
4 probably. Anyway,
legs wrap around you,
Jennifer Amato, our freshly minted author. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Amazon. My book is out for pre-release. The Group Jana. It is book 1 in a 4-part series. So definitely grab your pre-order. It'll be released November 10th, which is my 45th birthday, and I look forward
Go
to.
Audible. Go Audible. I'm telling you.
Definitely want to
My
do.
best sales were in Audible, but
I definitely want to do Audible.
It's so much fun listening to your book on Audible. It's like a play in your head.
Yeah, and I know who I want
great.
to. The girl who I wrote the book after is who I want to actually do the Audible part. But yeah, you can find me on Amazon. Find my book on Amazon. You can also find me on Facebook at Jen Amato Author on Facebook. You can find me at the Written Undead. I'm here every Saturday. And you can also find me on my my website, jenamatoauthor.net, and the padded room every other Saturday. So,
Everywhere.
doing lots of things.
There you go.
All righty, Angel.
Yep. So you can find me on Amazon as well. You just look up my name, Anches Maximus. You can find all my historical fiction and RPG books, Game Knit. You can find me on my Facebook group, The Legionnaires of Anches Maximus. And we do a podcast every other Saturday. We're not doing one tomorrow, but next Saturday we'll be having our own podcast. So you can join us for that. And right now I'm working on King Windows 3, which is my city building lit RPG series. And I'm working on and Jack did a wonderful job editing it for me. So we're just
Thank
going
you,
for
sir.
We're going for the second edit pass throughs. And I'm working on King Windows 4. And you can also find me on Patreon, where you can join for as low as $2 a month, and you can read my new books as they're being written, and you get some exclusive content. You, Jack, and Jen will be getting paperbacks of my new book as well. So I'm looking forward to sending that to you guys. And that's all for now, guys.
All right. Well, real quick, I want to real quick shout out Jeff Thompson's new book, Epic Mayhem, is now out there and available to get your hands on. You see, it's a friendly read. It's not a giant read.
Very friendly. Very
young screenshot.
Very
That's
funny
very
indeed.
good stuff.
Yeah.
not a huge commitment.
I've already. Well, actually, no, I have not.
And you can find it on Amazon.
One more quick. Meryl David, Wicked Awake.
Is that the new one?
Kissing Dead Babies,
Kissing
book 4.
Dead Babies.
This the brand new monster right
that
here.
doesn't look terribly thick either.
No, it's got the smaller print, so you get plenty of good words. And
But
you
is
know
it
how
like-
Meryl and you
It's
know
the
how
words that
Meryl
count.
is with words.
He's a magician.
He is insane with those words.
He is a magician.
With that said, Mr. Derek Barton, where can everybody find you?
Well, I'm on Facebook as well, Derek Barton Novelist. You can also find me on my website, authorderekbarton.blog. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram. What else? We have our we'll soon have our own website for With Malice, and hopefully that'll be out next year, first quarter. So we're working hard to get it all set up. So, but
Yes.
yeah.
Look for With Malice, the magazine.
Yep.
Damn, Skippy. And hey, just so you know, we got a organization filled with freaking authors, and we'll be hollering at them to say, hey, man, you want to drop a little something short over here on the side?
Yep.
Yeah.
So don't even worry about that, because we have the Written Undead. This has been the Written Undead podcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
Hey,
thank you for coming.
Thank you
glad
for
to have
coming.
you here. That's Jennifer Amato. That's Angel Ramon. That's Derek Barton. I'm Jack Childress, and we will see you next week. Peace out.
Deuces.
Stay frosty, everyone.